Hello. Hi there. So, my intention was to be here an hour ago, but I had some technical difficulties because I didn't realize I had scheduled the live on my phone, so it made it be mobile only. But then I couldn't figure out how to get it to do right. So I couldn't start it on my phone. I couldn't start it from the computer. It was a lot that was happening. So, anyway, I'm excited to be here. I wanted to just take a moment to think out loud and process some things because I had some Facebook memories that came up today. And hi. And those Facebook memories reminded me of what was happening a year ago. So I wanted to kind of just take a moment to just wrap my mind around that and process out loud. Um, so yeah, I'm doing that. Um, and also trying to fix this whole situation because that was crazy. I was trying to go live and it was like, no, ma'am, that's not happening. So let me update the things so that people know where I am. Okay, I have to put the link over on the YouTube. I mean, what's this? On Facebook so that people can come over if they choose. Okay, so I said that I was going to do these more frequently because I often have a lot of thoughts and um for some reason I haven't really been able to write lately. So it's been interesting because usually that's an indicator that my brain is on overload and I'm not sure if that's what's happening or what, but um I'm trying to work with it so that I don't mess myself up. Okay, this is where I'm trying to go. All right. So, earlier today I haven't really been on social media for real. So, a lot of times I will put out information, but I'm not really taking anything in because I have all these projects that I'm working on. One of which being the cookbook. And also, I'm working on creating a healing circle because I just had a meeting this morning with someone who is in the US. And we were talking about their podcast and they were sharing just how heavy it feels right now. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And I feel it here in Colombia. I can only imagine what it feels like there. So, as we were having that conversation, I was telling her that I'm hosting a healing circle next weekend for Black women to be able to have a moment to just breathe because it's so much that's going on. So I was going on to social media to post that and to talk about that. And then I saw my memories for today. And one of the memories for today was that it was the first time that I publicly said that I am neurodivergent. And at that time, so that was what year is this? This is 25, so that was 24. So I started to figure out that I was neurodivergent when I had to go back to Mexico City in at the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. And that's when I found a psychologist. And that's when I discovered, like, oh, my brain works way different than what I've been trying to make it work like all this time. So I guess at the time, I really didn't think about it like it was a big deal. I just, I don't know, because I live a very transparent life and I believe in calling the things that I don't really like. I'm me and this is what it is. So I didn't really pause to be like, you probably shouldn't share that, or something might happen if you share that, or whatever. Like, it wasn't really that type of consideration. I just more so was wanting to talk about it because I knew how confused I had been my entire life, and how tired my brain was, and how my brain had just shut off. And I thought that it was important for people to know that this happens. And I don't know why we wouldn't talk about it, because it happens to many people. Um, and also, I'm in a position where I don't have to fear, I guess, losing my job or what have you. So anyway, I took all of that and I was just like, here, let me tell y'all about what I just learned about my brain. And I'm not really sure how many people know this, but my bachelor's degree is in biology. A lot of times I don't, over my life, I haven't really felt like I've used my degree a lot of times, even though I taught science, but it wasn't specifically biology. But I'm starting to see the biology wrap back around, especially when it comes to brain research and what that looks like and sounds like, and understanding how my brain works, and understanding how my brain was conditioned to work, but then understanding the optimal conditions that my brain needs to work. So I was processing all of that, and I've been talking about that, and I've been sharing about that, and specifically on my podcast and things. But it's interesting. It's interesting to me to learn how to honor your brain. And it comes with a lot of realizations. It comes with a lot of realizations of, one, realizing that many people don't honor their brains, and how many people don't know things about their brains. So I'll give you some examples. So for instance, right now I'm working on my morning routine, and I'm trying to help my brain to wake up gradually. I don't like the feeling of jolting awake. That doesn't feel good to me. So, like, some people have alarms that are like sirens and all that kind. I don't want that experience. I more so, for when I wake up in the morning, I want the experience of um like on Coming to America, when they woke up Prince Akeem with violins and an orchestra. That's how I want to wake up into my day. Okay, gradual, just like, hello, good morning. How is everyone? Like, that's how I want to wake up, right? So I've been trying to create that type of situation, because I realized that when I wake up very suddenly, and I wake up um with some type of jolt or scare, that disrupts my nervous system, and it takes me time to be able to get myself together after that. So it's like the first thing in the morning, I'm already starting behind the eight ball. So I have been taking the time to develop this routine that feels comfortable to me. And in that, I have learned things like certain color lights are very disruptive to my system. So right now I'm on kind of like a orangish sunrise, sunset type of glow, is the frequency that my spirit is vibrating at. Let's just say that. And again, I'm a scientist, so all colors of light have vibrations, and the vibration that is matching what's happening in my spirit is like this orangish glow. The other day I was turning on, so I don't know if you can see behind me, but the light strips here are colors. So the other day I was going through the different colors and there was like a blue and purple light, and it immediately felt like shock. Like my spirit was just like, ah, and it feels like very institutionalized to me. It's the type of lights I imagine at like hospitals and mental institutions and things, just very harsh. So in honoring my brain, I am understanding there is certain type of light that I need. I have to have warmth, and I need to have that in order to have a calm nervous system. So in this process, I have discovered how many of us don't know these things about our brains. And instead, we judge our brains. So we say things like, what is wrong with me? Like, God, that's so like stupid, or we apologize for it, or we minimize it. I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, yeah, that light hurts my eyes. I'd just rather be in the darkness. And I was like, okay, well, that's good to know. And also, you may want to try a different type of light. May want to try a warmer light. So I travel with a warm light that I can use. So if I'm in any space, I don't have to be subjected to the harsh overhead light that might be present, because that is disruptive to my nervous system. So in processing like my neurodivergence and understanding that my brain needs different things, it's allowing me to give myself more grace and more care and more compassion about what I'm actually feeling and what I need to feel in order to feel safe, and how I need to feel in order to feel safe. And through that, that has made me more vocal about the things, places, experiences, people that I will allow myself to be around. So what I have discovered, and it's interesting because I was dating this guy when I had first started like understanding about my neurodivergence, and he is a doctor. I call him Dr. Asshole. But I shared with him what I was learning about myself. And I was like, I live with OCD, and certain things are triggering for me. And he was like, you don't have OCD. And I was like, what? So he's like, you don't have OCD. OCD is about lining things up. And I thought to myself, I definitely line things up. But also, how can you tell me what I'm living with and what I'm experiencing when you are not in my brain? And that conversation with him being a medical doctor helped me to understand the deficiencies in medicine when it comes to matters of mental health and of our brains. And it really helped me to understand that knowledge is so limited. Doctors only know what they know, and that's it. And many of them, they're supposed to take continuing education. And continuing education is so you're continuing to do research about things that are happening with real people and yourself, so that you are aware of the things, right? But if you are a person who does not operate with care and compassion in the first place, you sitting in them classes, but you ain't taking that in, who cares? Right? Because you don't care. So why would you care about anybody else? And I realized in that process that one of the things that I often do is I give people this package of trust from the beginning, because I'm thinking about how I would show up. So I was going to school to be a doctor. That was the original path. And as I was going to school to be a doctor, I was wanting to be a doctor because I care about people and I want to help to heal. And I don't know why I didn't know this, but I found out firsthand. Everybody is not a doctor because they care about people. Many doctors are doctors because it comes easy for them and it's a way to earn money. And I don't know why I hadn't made those connections, but when I made that connection, it helped me to feel like even more of an authority on myself because I know the amount of research that I've done on my brain and brain research. And I'm looking at someone who has this title of a doctor, yet has zero understanding of how their own brain works. So he would call himself a machine. He would be like, I'm a machine. And I'm like, you're definitely not a machine and you're definitely a person. But what that says to me is he's not in a space where he's honoring his brain at all. He about to burn his brain the hell out and God bless him because you're running straight into a brick wall. But it helped me to do a few things. It helped me to become an expert on myself and be willing and ready to advocate for myself because I live with myself 24/7. Nobody else does. So there is no doctor that can tell me what I experience, whether I experience something or whether I don't. That is, you cannot tell me that because you don't live in my body. You don't know what that feels like. So it helped me to find my voice even more about this and advocating for myself. It also helped me to be more intentional in how I am giving trust to people because I cannot think of things in the way that I would think about it if I were to do it. So it kind of helped me to have more filters, I guess, of understanding, ask more intentional questions, why are you? Why did you choose your profession? What do you feel like is your purpose in being in that profession? And then it also taught me that when you see them first signs, roll out, roll out, because it didn't get better from there. It did not. It was wild. Um, But all of that came because I was talking about my neurodivergence. And I was saying, different things like, I don't want to walk on the floor barefoot. I'm not going to do that. How about that? Or take your shoes off at the door. Can I just rant for a second? Because we had COVID, right? I don't understand why, in an age where we have had COVID just a few years ago, that people not understanding how germs transfer. I'm not understanding. Can y'all help me understand? Because I'm watching if this is dirty and you touch this and then you touch this, and then you touch this. All of those things are now dirty. I don't understand why we're not understanding collectively. I'm confused because we had a whole COVID. I don't get it. Help me. But anyway, stuff like that. Of I felt like I had to like constantly explain, just can you just not do that? Like it was very interesting. So I'm grateful that I had that experience with Dr. Asshole because it allowed me to become very, very clear on the types of things that I need to feel safe, the types of people that feel safe, the type of spaces that feel safe. And just because somebody calls something a safe space does not mean that it's safe for you. I learned that the hard way too. And just because other people are in their process of understanding their own neurodivergence does not mean that they are safe people for you. So, our work in understanding our brains, whether you consider yourself to be neurodivergent or not, is connecting your brain back to your spirit, because our spirit is telling us what feels safe, what doesn't. Our body is telling us. If we listen, we are able to sense the smallest discomfort, or the smallest hesitance, or the smallest absence of peace. And when you're able to feel that, then our brain is able to help us to make better choices about what aligns with the peace in our spirit. I don't know about y'all, but that's the mission I'm on, is to have peace. Um I don't remember where I was, but somebody somewhere in this road of research that I've been doing on the brain was like, we're supposed to have calm nervous systems. And I was like, how you get one of those? Cuz I never I have never in my life had a calm nervous system, is what I thought to myself at that time. And I remember when I came here to Medellin, and granted, it was during COVID because it was April of 2021, but it was the first time that I felt what a calm nervous system felt like, because I didn't I didn't have to do anything for anybody. I didn't have to be somewhere for somebody. I just was able to just be. And that is how our lives are supposed to be. But when we are operating the opposite from what our brains and our spirits need, we don't get to experience that. It just feels like constant chaos. And constant chaos can feel very normal, and it feels very normal for many people because it's all they've known. But when you have an opportunity to experience something different, it gives your brain and spirit direction to be able to move towards that. And I think that is our work right now. That is our revolutionary work, is to figure out how to calm our nervous systems, because we deserve that. We deserve to have the ability to think clearly and to experience creativity and to sit down and blow bubbles if that brings you joy. We have a right to experience those things. And unfortunately, many of us have never had the opportunity to have that experience. So, one of the main reasons that I share so openly about what I'm experiencing is because I want people to feel seen. I want people to understand that it is possible. And that's whether you choose to leave the country or whether you choose to stay. You owe to yourself the opportunity to have a calm nervous system. You owe that to yourself. And I find joy in helping people to be able to experience that. I remember what it was like to constantly be on the go and just constantly having to do something and be on and be present and get your shit together. Like, it's just, I remember those days, and that gradually breaks us down. It pumps us full of cortisol in our system. We retain weight. We struggle with digesting our food. We struggle with sleep. Our mental health is suffering. We're retaining water. We're just not well. We're just not well. And it's because we're living in a system that doesn't want us to be well, only wants us to be able to provide and produce, and not for ourselves either. So the more that I do my work of understanding my brain, the more that I understand how much work there is to do for us to be able to show up for ourselves differently. So I am doing my part in the transparency of it all and doing everything I can to get healing spaces to people who need them. So, one of the things that I am doing is hosting healing circles. And in those healing circles is for Black women to be able to have a moment to breathe. Um, Hi there, Ebony the Explorer. Yeah, how about that? The comment says, I was just having this conversation with my parents and now catching this live as a new follower. Welcome to this world. Um, so yeah, I'm starting to host these healing circles because it was actually a healing circle that saved my life when I was living in Pennsylvania and I was processing all the racial trauma and like all of the things. Someone had invited me to a healing circle. And I remember being on the phone with one of my friends and I was just in tears and I was just like, I cannot keep doing this. I had just moved my whole life to Pennsylvania. It was December and I had planned to be there for the next 3 years. And I was realizing I was not probably going to finish the year and what all that meant because I had sold my house in Florida. It was a lot. So I'm just crying. I'm telling my friend and I was like, I'm about to try to go to this circle thing or whatever that somebody invited me to. And, I'll see what happens from there, but I just don't know how much longer I can do this. And I remember getting to the circle and they were just so affirming of you're not crazy. You are experiencing exactly what you thought you were experiencing and we understand and we see you. And that was just so necessary because so many times we are being gaslit at every turn. And all of us don't make it. There have been so many stories of Black women specifically who got into this position that they thought they was about to make change and it was set up that way to look that way on the outside, and then that system broke them to pieces and some of them are no longer here. So when I got to that circle, I felt like at least they understand. At least I know I'm not crazy. Maybe somebody here can help me. And they did. They did very, very, very much and were very instrumental in helping me to stabilize myself and to get help and support. And that's what many of us need right now. So, a lot of that work takes place behind closed doors and in spaces that are safe. So, there's only so much that can be said here. But I wanted to intentionally mention it because I am going to put the registration link into the description. But you're able to register. Let me put it in the chat here. It's tiny URL. Um, Hold on, what is it? tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Ebony. So I'm sharing that, and people need to register. You will have to turn on your camera so I can verify that you are indeed a Black woman. I don't know. So I've been doing this for a while, and back when I used to be with Beautiful Brown Girls, we would have different type of circles and stuff. And in the height of the Black Lives Matter protests and things like that, people were doing a lot of Zoom bombing. and they will come in and look for spaces to disrupt. So it's important to me that I understand who is actually there and that we understand that we are there with a common purpose. So you will have to turn on your camera to be able to verify your identity. You will have to register. But after that, it's a space to just come and be. If you have the capacity to be able to speak, you're able to do that. If you don't, and you just want to use the chat, you're able to do that as well. And if you don't even have that capacity, that's okay because you can just listen. But I've been feeling very much led to hold this space because again, I know what it did for me. And I know that had it not been for hearing through the grapevine, which I'm gonna call the sunflower path, hearing through this pathway that there was a space where I might be able to find some support. So I appreciate you all sharing. I appreciate you all if you choose to come. If it's not for you, it may be for somebody that you know. But I think it is time to really start activating these communities and places and spaces because people are drowning, and there are some of us who at least have the life raft or life vest to be able to throw to you to help because we've been there and we know what it looks like and what it feels like. So that is kind of what is happening now and how all of this neurodivergent understanding is coming into fruition. It really, and I'm grateful that it is giving me a more gracious outlook on life and that I'm able to treat myself with a lot much more compassion because I know that I know that I chose this life. Let's say it like that. I know that I chose this life. I know that my spirit was like, all right, this about to be wild, but we signing up. So I want to make sure that I am doing everything that I can and everything within my capacity to be able to help people to just have a moment to breathe. It really is that important. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Well, I do know. I was about to say I don't know what this next year looks like. I do know actually, and y'all gotta go watch some of my things. But I'm gonna give you a quick overview. I'm working on a cookbook with Ratatouille, who is a Panamanian chef that I am dating. And it is turning out to be something so amazing. So the other day, my Patreon and I had our first test kitchen because we have to test out these recipes and make sure that they're delicious, which I'm not concerned about that. The food is good, but this is the thing. I was in the kitchen for like a total of like 2 hours. Hey, that cannot happen. I had to be like, hey, Ratatouille, my boy, let me tell you, I'm not trying to be in this kitchen for all of that time. So my point of doing these recipes and making these recipes is because I want to make sure that they're not intensive. As a chef, he is very much like, it's easy. No. So I'm being y'all. I am testing the things out and giving real life feedback about whether it's actually easy or what it looks like, sounds like, because I want people to be able to make these recipes and the recipes mean a lot to me. Like each one of them are important to me and also important to Ratatouille and I because they've come for various reasons at various times. So I have to make sure that the recipes align with the things, right? So anyway, in my Patreon, we're starting to do test kitchens. And the first one we did was salmon, teriyaki salmon and rice, and then chia pudding parfait. So it was chia pudding, bananas, strawberries, kiwi, and crushed nuts. I use crushed peanuts or crushed walnuts, crushed pecans, and a couple mint leaves. It was good, but also I don't know. The jury is still out. So I need y'all to like also be coming. So I'm thinking about doing some cooking classes, or I'm not gonna call it a cooking class because um it's not really about the technique of things. Thank you, Ebony. It's not really about the technique of things. It's more about get it done how you get it done. Like I don't care what knife you use. Does it cut the things? But I'm thinking about doing some cooking experiences. Let's say that. Some cooking experiences so that y'all can help me test these recipes because I want to make sure that they resonate and I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to hang out. And you also, if you come get a chance to meet Ratatouille on the phone, and I'll just say Ratatouille does not want to have his like public persona out at this time. So I just call him Ratatouille. But he'll be there cooking with us. So I'm about to start scheduling those things. And also I learned this is my confession. These are my confessions. I learned that I am a horrible student. I am a horrible. I was not listening. I was not listening at all. And I think a lot of it was because I was hungry and I was like, "Come on, man. I'm over this because he loves the kitchen. He'll sleep in the kitchen if you let him. I don't want to be in the kitchen like that. I need to come in here. I love to cook, but also I'm not trying to be in here for hours on end. That does not bring me joy. So I was not listening. It was like only one clove of garlic. Who uses only one clove of garlic? Really, sir? One clove? Really? No. So he's telling me one, and the whole time I'm chopping up 3. Yeah, one clove of garlic. I was not a good student. I was not a good student. So I'm working on that. So y'all will also be able to see me not be a good student at times and also hopefully improve on that. So anyway, that happens in my Patreon. So my Patreon is at Minding My Black Ass Business. It is only $5 a month, and that helps tremendously. Tremendously. I will say that if you have an iPhone, that it's better for you to sign up on a computer because the iStore or whatever it's called. I have an Android, so I don't know about y'all's iWorld, but the store, the Apple Store, I guess it's called, where you get the apps and things from, they charge a surcharge. So it's more advantageous for you to actually go to patreon.com/ minding my black ass business and sign up on a computer. Again, it's only $5 a month. I have been back doing my vlogs, so my people over there have been getting content, and that's where you get to follow really closely and the things that I'm doing, as well as get discounts on merch at Minding My Black Ass Business, as well as life coaching and all the other things that I do. All right. So, having said that, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. I am about to go to a dance class. I'm about to go to a dance class. It's called Zouk. And I went last week with someone who is here visiting Medellin. And this week, someone else came to visit Medellin. So I'm meeting them over at the class. So I'm anticipating a really phenomenal afternoon. And y'all can look out for some content about that soon. If you haven't heard of Zouk, it's a dance that's like from Brazil. It's like a combination of rumba and capoeira and bachata and a few other things. So I'm about to go do that and then hang out with the ladies and help them on their transition here into Colombia. So I will be in touch soon. I appreciate y'all. Please share this. Please like it. Please leave me some sunflowers in the chat if anything I said resonated with you. And please share about the healing circle so that people are able to come and get some support. Again, it's tinyurl.com/Black Women Healing Circle. It's next Saturday at 12 Central, 1 Eastern. And it's on Zoom. It is virtual. It is registration. Okay. All right. I'm going dance. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.